What if I told you that a U.S. president who served 2 terms could find a way to stay in power longer? It sounds impossible, right? 4 years from now, when Donald Trump's second term ends, he'll face a constitutional barrier that stood for over 70 years. But something unprecedented is happening. For the first time, a president isn't just joking about a third term. He's openly discussing methods to make it happen. When asked how he might bypass the Constitution, Trump cryptically claimed, "There are methods which you could do it," refusing to elaborate when pressed for details. Today, we're diving into these methods, from constitutional amendments custom-tailored for Trump, to vice presidential schemes inspired by Russian tactics, to emergency powers that could fundamentally change American democracy as we know it. The question isn't just hypothetical anymore. It's becoming a real possibility that demands our attention. Could Donald Trump actually serve a third term as President of the United States? Donald Trump's third-term ambition, can it happen? Donald Trump's second term as President of the United States is underway, but a constitutional roadblock looms large. The 22nd Amendment prohibits him from being elected to a third term. Despite this, Trump has repeatedly hinted at running again, joking about it during rallies and even raising funds for a next race. He claims he might not be able to use. Recently, he escalated those hints into something more concrete. In a Sunday morning phone call, Trump declared he wasn't joking about seeking a third term, cryptically noting there are methods to make it happen, though he refused to elaborate. His allies, like Tennessee Republican Andy Ogles, are already brainstorming ways to bypass the constitutional barrier, with Ogles boldly stating, "We're working on it." So, what are these potential methods, and could they actually work? Let's break it down. The constitutional wall, the 22nd Amendment. The main obstacle to Trump's third-term dream is the U.S. Constitution itself. Throughout American history, presidential power has been defined by its limitations. Among the most sacred is the 2-term limit, enshrined in the 22nd Amendment after Franklin Roosevelt's unprecedented 4 terms. This constitutional guardrail has stood for over 7 decades as the unmovable boundary of presidential ambition. The 22nd Amendment is explicit. No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. For over 70 years, this has been an ironclad limit, ensuring no president overstays their welcome. It's simple and clear. Trump, having been elected in 2016 and again in 2024, would hit this cap by the end of his current term in 2028. But where there's a will, there's a way, or at least that's what Trump and his supporters appear to believe. Let's explore the alternatives they might be considering. Option 1. Amend the Constitution. The most direct way to clear the path for a third term is to change the Constitution itself. Just 3 days into Trump's second term, Representative Andy Ogles proposed a joint resolution to tweak the 22nd Amendment. His plan? Rewrite it to say, "No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than 3 times," with an added clause, "No person shall be elected to any additional term after being elected to 2 consecutive terms." This is a cleverly crafted loophole, since Trump's 2 terms, 2017 to 2021 and 2025 to 2029, are non-consecutive. He'd be eligible for a third run in 2028. Meanwhile, someone like Barack Obama, who served 2 consecutive terms, 2009 to 2017, would still be barred. It's a constitutional backdoor, designed with Trump in mind. The catch: amending the Constitution is a Herculean task. It requires 2/3 approval in both the House and Senate, 290 of 435 representatives, and 67 of 100 senators. 3/4 of the states, 38 out of 50, to ratify it. Republicans hold slim majorities in Congress, say just over 50%, but they're nowhere near the 2/3 needed. And with nearly 20 states under Democratic control, getting 38 states on board is a long shot. There's an alternative route. 2/3 of states, 34, could call a constitutional convention, but that's never been done, and ratification still requires 38 states. Experts agree this is the hardest path. As one scholar quipped, "We couldn't get two-thirds of Congress to agree sunshine feels great after a cold day." For now, this option looks more like a symbolic gesture than a viable plan. Option 2, the vice presidential backdoor. If changing the Constitution is too tough, what if Trump didn't need to be elected president again? Enter the VP ascension theory. The idea is simple. Trump runs as vice president in 2028, alongside a loyal running mate, someone like J.D. Vance. They win, and shortly after inauguration, the new president resigns, handing the presidency back to Trump. It's happened before. When Richard Nixon resigned in 1974, Vice President Gerald Ford stepped up without an election. The 22nd Amendment only bars Trump from being elected president more than twice. It's silent on whether he could serve as president again through succession. Trump himself hinted at this when asked by NBC News, saying, "That's one method." It's a page straight out of Vladimir Putin's playbook. In 2008, Putin hit Russia's term limit, stepped down to become prime minister, let a loyalist take the presidency, and then returned in 2012. The catch: the 12th Amendment complicates things. It states, "No person constitutionally ineligible to the office of president shall be eligible to that of vice president of the United States." Is Trump ineligible to be president because of the 22nd Amendment? It's a legal gray area. Some argue the 22nd Amendment only limits elections, not eligibility to serve, pointing to the Constitution's core requirements, 35 years old, natural-born citizen, etc., as the true eligibility test. Others say the two-term limit implicitly makes him ineligible for both offices. If Trump tried this, it'd spark a legal battle that could land in the Supreme Court, where 3 of his appointees sit. The outcome? Anyone's guess, but it's a risky roll of the dice. Option 3, emergency powers and indefinite rule. Trump's no stranger to flexing executive muscle. In his first term, he declared a national emergency to fund his border wall, bypassing Congress. In his second term, he's already used emergency powers to impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico, citing national security threats like fentanyl. He's issued over 100 executive orders, often stretching presidential authority. What if he took it further? Picture this. In 2028, as his term nears its end, a crisis erupts, a cyber attack, a global conflict, or a domestic disaster. Trump declares a national emergency, arguing the country can't handle a transition. He delays the election, claiming it's too dangerous to hold. It's not a third term. It's an extension of the second, potentially indefinitely. Ukraine's president delayed elections during wartime, so there's precedent. Trump's allies might argue it's a temporary measure, but critics would call it a power grab. The catch: the Constitution is firm. Article 2, Section 1 says, "A president's term ends on January 20th, period. Congress sets election dates, but even if an election were delayed, Trump's term would still expire. If he refused to leave, citing an emergency, it'd trigger a constitutional crisis. Courts would intervene, Congress could resist, and public unrest might erupt. It's the most drastic option, and the clearest sign democracy's in trouble. As one expert warned, if he stays beyond his term, that's the end of American democracy as we know it." The Trump playbook: normalize the outrageous. Beyond specific methods, Trump has a broader strategy: repetition. He's floated wild ideas before: buying Greenland, seizing the Panama Canal, annexing Canada. At first, they're laughed off, then they're debated. Eventually, they feel less absurd. He's been teasing a third term since his first campaign, and now his allies are amplifying it. Ogles' amendment proposal isn't just a plan. It's a signal, softening the ground for bigger moves. By 2028, the idea might not shock anyone anymore. It's a slow burn to make the unthinkable plausible. Could it work? The bottom line. So, can Trump pull off a third term? Each method has hurdles: amending the Constitution, nearly impossible with today's gridlock; VP ascension, legally murky, likely headed for the Supreme Court, emergency powers, a constitutional crisis waiting to happen. The odds are steep, but Trump thrives on defying odds. He's got time, years to test these ideas, rally his base, and exploit any cracks in the system. His allies are committed, with Ogles already endorsing him for 2028. And his supporters see him as above the rules, a leader unbound by fake news or dusty amendments. For now, it's unclear how serious he is. Is this a bluff to keep opponents guessing? A fundraising gimmick? Or a genuine plot? Trump's coy, "We've got a long time to go," keeps everyone off balance. But one thing's certain, he's not fading quietly. The question isn't just, can he do it? It's, what happens if he tries? A nation divided, a constitution tested, and a democracy on edge. That's the stakes. What do you think? Is Trump serious, or is this all noise? Could any of these methods succeed, or is the 22nd Amendment unbreakable? The future's unwritten, and it's up to us to watch how it plays out. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second, but it makes a huge difference and helps me keep creating better English videos just for you. Your support truly means the world. Thank you so much.